Welcome to the Copperfield Electric Podcast. Today we're diving deep into a topic that's increasingly relevant for, well, almost 2 million drivers in California.
Yeah, especially if you're here in Orange County.
Exactly. We're looking at the evolving world of electric vehicle charging.
And specifically, we're looking at why your, let's say, traditional charging habits might be missing a huge opportunity.
An opportunity not just for your wallet, right?
Not just the wallet, no, but for the environment and really the entire energy grid. Our sources for this deep dive come from recent insights into EV charging trends, particularly in California, and also info about local electrical services.
Right, trying to connect the dots.
Trying to connect the big picture to your daily drive, basically.
But that core idea, shifting when and where we charge that, it really is the crux of it, isn't it?
It absolutely is.
So our mission today is to unpack why charging your EV at work rather than, the usual overnight at home could actually be the smarter, cleaner, and more impactful choice.
Yeah, get ready for maybe some aha moments.
I think so. Could really change how you think about powering your ride and your role in California's energy future. Okay, so let's get into it. I mean, California really is the epicenter of the EV revolution. We're talking over 1.9 million electric cars registered across the state.
It's huge. That's more than 1/3 of all the EVs nationwide.
Incredible. And it's fantastic that so many people are making the switch, embracing cleaner transport. But as EV adoption surges like this, a new kind of critical challenge is emerging. It's not just about getting an EV anymore, is it? It's about optimizing how we use them, how we charge them.
That's precisely it. What's fascinating here is it's not just about having the EV, but when and where you charge it.
Right.
And for Orange County residents, this isn't some, far-off future problem. It's really a present opportunity to optimize how we power these vehicles.
An opportunity, yeah, not just a problem.
Exactly. We're talking about a significant yet pretty simple shift, moving from just plugging in the garage overnight maybe to strategically charging, say, in your office parking lot around midday.
It seems like a small thing.
It does, but it's a small change in behavior that has surprisingly large cascading benefits.
And this is where the real potential for impact becomes clear, I think. This seemingly small shift in your daily routine, just changing the time and place you plug in, could significantly cut emissions, lower overall energy costs for the grid.
Yeah, and help California really leverage all that solar and wind power we have.
Which is substantial. It's about maximizing the potential of the green energy we already have, not just building more. But, okay, why is timing so critical? What's the science there?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, most EVs charged overnight are drawing electricity from a grid that's still, especially in the evening, pretty heavily reliant on natural gas.
Okay.
California's grid, like many, often has to power up what we call peaker plants when demand surges. Everyone comes home from work, turns on the lights, the AC, the appliances.
Like that evening rush.
Exactly. And these peaker plants are typically less efficient, often older, and usually fossil fuel-based generators. They just fire up to meet those peaks.
So when I plug in my car at, say, 7 p.m., there's a decent chance it's pulling from some of the dirtier, more expensive power sources on the grid.
That's often the case, yes. Precisely. However, California has this unique advantage during the middle of the day, especially when the sun is shining brightest.
Which it does a lot here.
It certainly does. Solar energy just floods our power grid. Often in surplus, we actually generate so much clean, renewable energy sometimes that we struggle to use it all effectively in real time.
Wow. And much of that clean, abundant energy just goes to waste. Because we aren't using it right when it's available.
In a sense, yes. It gets curtailed, meaning the grid operators have to tell solar farms to temporarily reduce output because there isn't enough demand or storage capacity at that exact moment.
It's like having a solar-powered faucet running clean water all day, but only collecting it in a tiny bucket at night. All that sunshine just waiting to power your car, which is probably just sitting there, parked.
That's a good analogy. We're literally letting clean electrons dissipate or not be generated in the first place because our demand doesn't always line up perfectly with that midday supply.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What's the scale of this missed opportunity? How much cleaner could it be?
It's quite significant, and this raises the key question. What if we could align our EV charging with this peak solar production? The impact is pretty dramatic.
Okay.
According to energy experts, charging at work during these daylight hours can cut the emissions associated with charging by an additional 80% compared to typical overnight charging.
Whoa, wait. An additional 80%? You mean that's on top of the already huge reduction you get just by switching from a gas car in the first place.
Exactly. On top of that initial very significant gain, let me break that down a bit.
Please do. That sounds almost too good to be true.
Well, think about the energy mix. Your overnight charge, while definitely much cleaner than gasoline, might still be drawing from a grid that's, say, 30–40% fossil fuels during those evening or early morning demand spikes when the peaker plants are running.
Okay, makes sense.
But in California's midday, maybe from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., we are just swimming in solar. So that midday charge is drawing from a grid that's almost entirely renewable at that point, often 90% or even more from solar and other clean sources like wind or hydro.
Wow.
That's the dramatic difference in what's called carbon intensity. You're basically maximizing your green footprint by tapping into the absolute cleanest, most abundant energy available on the grid at that specific time. The science is pretty clear. Daytime charging truly makes your EV even greener.
That is a staggering figure and a really compelling aha moment, like you said. It's not just about driving electric. It's about smart electric driving.
Precisely.
So, okay, what does this all mean practically for, someone driving around Orange County day to day, and maybe for local businesses too?
Well, with so many residents commuting to offices or campuses or job sites, the workplace becomes one of the best and, frankly, most underutilized locations for EV charging infrastructure.
Because your car just sits there.
Exactly. Your car often sits idle for hours in a parking lot or structure. It's the perfect window to refuel with that sunshine-generated electricity. It just makes so much logical sense when you think about the structure of a typical workday and where your vehicle actually is.
And are businesses starting to recognize this? Are we seeing examples?
We are, yeah. Consider the UC San Diego model. They've really turned their campus into a kind of living lab to study these dynamics.
Okay.
They currently have over 550 level 2 chargers installed, and they're planning to expand that to 1,200 by 2026.
And level 2, that's a standard sort of workplace charger, not the
Yeah.
super fast ones.
Right. Level 2 is ideal for this. It offers a good balance. It typically adds about 20–25 miles of range per hour of charging, which is plenty for most commutes over a workday. And they're much more cost-effective to install in large numbers compared to the DC fast chargers you might see along highways.
Got it.
So these stations at UC San Diego, they can easily recharge over half an EV battery during a typical workday. And crucially, they're doing it right when that pink solar production is happening.
And that model seems replicable, right? You can see that in Orange County's business parks or big office complexes, maybe even schools.
Absolutely. It's a scalable model that could easily be replicated across Orange County's, vibrant business parks, corporate campuses, large retail centers, community colleges, you name it.
And the benefits aren't just about emissions, are they? It sounds like there are other advantages too.
Oh, definitely. It's truly multifaceted. Workplace public charging stations also help balance the grid. They act like sponges, soaking up that midday solar surplus.
So the utility companies like that.
They should, yeah. It can lower energy storage costs for them because they might not need to curtail as much solar power or invest quite as heavily in massive battery systems to store all that excess power for later use.
Okay.
Crucially, they provide essential charging access for drivers who don't have reliable home charging options. Think about apartment dwellers, renters, people who rely on street parking. That's a growing group, especially in denser parts of Orange County.
That's a huge equity point.
It really is. And finally, more daytime charging eases pressure on the grid during those peak evening electricity demand hours when everyone comes home and plugs everything in at once. So yeah, it's a positive outcome for the environment, for the grid operator, and for individual drivers, especially those without home charging.
Okay, so if it's such a clear win-win-win, why aren't more people doing it already? Why do most drivers still seem to default to charging at home overnight?
That really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it mainly boils down to existing utility rate structures.
The pricing.
The pricing. These rates often make overnight power appear cheaper to the consumer on their monthly bill. Even though in the wholesale market, where the energy companies actually buy and sell electricity amongst themselves, the cost of producing and transmitting power is significantly lower during the middle of the day, thanks to all that cheap, abundant solar.
So there's a disconnect. The utilities might be getting power cheaper during the day, but my home electricity bill might still incentivize nighttime use because the rate structure hasn't fully caught up.
That's a great way to put it. It's like buying discounted daylight produce but paying premium evening prices at the grocery checkout because the pricing system is lagging behind the supply reality.
How long do you think it'll take for those rate structures to really catch up and reflect that daytime value.
That's the ongoing discussion. It's definitely a perception problem driven by these pricing structures that don't yet fully reflect real-time grid conditions, the true cost, and the availability of energy at any given moment.
So experts are pushing for change there.
They are. Folks like Ram Rajagopal, he's a professor of civil and environmental engineering up at Stanford. They argue that pricing needs to become more dynamic. It needs to reflect the real cost and, importantly, the real carbon content of electricity throughout the day.
Not just about fairness, but about sending the right signals.
Exactly. It's about incentivizing the behaviors that actually help the grid and the environment.
So if utilities offered lower rates during those solar-rich hours, maybe through specific workplace charging programs or time-of-use rates that really favored midday.
Then it would directly incentivize EV owners, financially, to charge their vehicles at work or during the day. That would make a real difference, boosting adoption of this cleaner charging pattern.
Makes perfect sense. Are there other incentives needed beyond just pricing adjustments?
Yeah, pricing is key, but it's not the only piece. If the economic signals were aligned, yes, Orange County residents would likely gravitate towards daytime charging. But we also just need more readily available, reliable charging infrastructure at workplaces. That's fundamental.
All right, the chargers need to be there.
They do, and we need more innovative policies, maybe state or local, that encourage businesses and property managers to actually install these chargers. Things like tax credits, grant programs, maybe streamlined permitting processes to make it easier and cheaper for them to do it.
It's about aligning those economic signals with the environmental goals and just removing some of the hassle or perceived barriers for businesses.
Exactly, making it the easy, smart choice.
So this really means that local companies, property owners, even HOAs in some cases, they have a pretty decisive role to play in enabling this shift to workplace charging.
They really do, especially as some of the federal support for broad public EV station deployment might be scaling back or shifting focus. The responsibility is increasingly falling on employers, on commercial property owners, and local infrastructure providers.
It's a moment for local leadership, real.
It is, and that's where, having trusted local partners like Copperfield Electric comes into the picture. Well, implementing these kinds of infrastructure changes, getting the right permits, understanding local codes, doing the actual safe installation of level 2 chargers, it requires a local expertise.
Right.
Copperfield Electric, being an Orange County family-owned business, they play a crucial role here. They specialize in EV charger installation, not just for homes, but specifically for businesses, too.
Helping those businesses make the leap.
Exactly. Helping property owners attract maybe more eco-conscious tenants or employees, future-proofing their properties, and really contributing significantly to a greener Orange County by making this smarter charging possible.
And you mentioned incentives earlier.
Yeah, plus there are often local and state incentives available that can help cover a good chunk of the installation costs. Copperfield can likely help businesses navigate those, making it a financially smart move too, not just an environmental one. They understand the local landscape.
That makes sense. So whether you're a business owner thinking about embracing this future-forward opportunity, or maybe you're just an individual EV driver wanting to understand your options for smarter charging.
Copperfield Electric is right there in the community.
Right here, ready to help you navigate these changes. Their team is highly trained. They're licensed, bonded, insured electricians. They're equipped to handle a really wide range of electrical needs, both for homes and for businesses all across Orange County.
And that includes key areas, right? Irvine, Anaheim?
Yep. Irvine, Anaheim, Santa Ana, Costa Mesa, Newport Beach, Laguna Beach, Mission Viejo, and, all the surrounding areas, too.
Comprehensive service.
Very much so. And beyond just the EV charger installation, which is our focus today, they do offer comprehensive electrical services, things like panel upgrades, which might be needed for chargers sometimes, lighting repairs, and critically, they offer 24/7 emergency electrical services.
That peace of mind is important.
Absolutely. They're committed to the safety and satisfaction of their customers, really around the clock. So, thinking big picture again, Orange County, with all its sunshine and this really substantial, growing EV driving population, it just seems perfectly positioned to embrace this next evolution of clean driving.
It really is. Charging smarter, not just more.
It feels like such a natural fit for this region and a really tangible way for us to enhance our local environmental efforts.
And, this isn't just about saving a little bit on your electricity bill, although that's nice, or shaving off a few more emissions, though that's critical. It kind of raises a broader question, doesn't it?
How so?
It makes you wonder, What other daily habits in your life, if you reevaluated them for optimal timing or optimal resource use, could lead to unexpectedly significant benefits? Benefits for you, for your community.
Huh. That's a fascinating thought.
It's really a chance, not just here, but across the Western states with similar solar resources, for individuals and businesses to consciously align habits with a cleaner, more efficient energy future, thinking beyond just the EV itself.
Making every choice count, in a way.
Something like that.
Indeed. Well, that's a great point to ponder. So, whether you're ready to significantly reduce your carbon footprint by enabling or using workplace EV charging, or perhaps you just want to explore your existing home EV charging options to make them as efficient as possible.
Copperfield Electric can help.
Copperfield Electric installs EV chargers for homes and offices all across Orange County. You can contact them today to get started with an EV charger installation for your home, or perhaps talk to them about options for your office or business.
Let them help you plug into that smarter, cleaner future.
Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in to the Copperfield Electric Podcast.